Good afternoon, and welcome to More Than Meets the Eye. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today we're going to be finishing up the Jurassic Park crossover that included Tyrannicon Rex and JP-93. We covered Tyrannicon Rex last week, and this week we have been covering JP-93. And today is the last video of that, where we will be doing the JP-93 robot review. Next week, you can expect the Bumblebee Sergeant Stalker crossover. That's a really cool thing. So next week we'll talk about that. But right now we've got this. So let's get into it. And if you like what you're watching, hit that like button, please. It really helps me out. And if you want to share it with your friends, your family, anybody, go ahead and share it. Share it as a troll thing. I don't care. Just please share my videos. I will give you a hug if you share my videos. Like, if I meet you on the street and you shared my videos, I will give you a hug. I'm not lying about that one. I will. It's awesome when people share my stuff. I absolutely love it. My day is made better whenever I see that somebody has shared my videos, and I really appreciate it when you do. So let's get into talking about this guy. And if you're wondering what More Than Meets the Eye is, More Than Meets the Eye is a series that is built to raise awareness for the blind and act as kind of a blind advocate platform to help make more people aware that the blind exist and that the blind aren't anything different, really. We all enjoy the same things that the sighted enjoy, and this channel is about showcasing that there's not much difference between a blind person and a seeing person. It's just that we can't see. Other than that, we're people, just people. So let's talk about this guy. He's a decent figure, and I got a little bit to say about him. This video may not be an incredibly long one. There's not really much to say about him. So we'll start off with articulation today. So articulation-wise, he's got 90-degree elbows. He's got just about full rotation in his shoulder for 360 degrees, except that this back wing gets in the way. So I'd give it like, I don't know, 300-degree rotation because you're missing that 60. I mean, if you fold up the arm, you can get that full 360 going. Yeah. It can move up on the side at 90 degrees. So not higher than a 90-degree arm raise, which is sad. You can't do that whole... He can't raise his hand for class unless he spins his arm around to raise it like so. So you can get that full 100, but you can't really get it like you would expect, where you could just pull the arm all the way up like you can with your human body. So there's that. Hands have no sort of articulation whatsoever on them, and the head does have a nice ball joint. It's a better head than what we got with Tyrannicon Rex, honestly. I really like how firm the joint is for that head. You can move him up and you can look him down. Then we're going to come over here to the legs. And, well, the hip actually first. We'll talk about the hip. The hip does get not much movement. And there's not even a swivel here going on with the hip, sadly enough. His transformation does not allow for a hip swivel, which makes him one of the least articulated deluxes we've seen in a while. He does have a sideways leg movement, but that joint is very loose, which means that he's got the Ultra Magnus problem of his hip joints being incredibly loose for the side-to-side action, which is an immediate, I don't like. But he also has some thigh swivel to allow his legs to get that full 360 action at the thigh. And, he can move, his leg can move back almost a 90, can move forward at a 90, and can move sideways at, I'd say, what is that, like 80 degrees? Almost a 90, but not quite a 90. Now we're coming down here to the knee, and he's got a single jointed knee, and that knee is a very stiff knee, except whenever you move the painted stuff away, and then it loses its stability. So if you pull it back too far, it loses its ability to actually be a working knee. And then finally we come down here to the feet, and we get the weirdest ankle tilt I've seen in a Transformer yet. This ankle tilt isn't down here where the foot is. This ankle tilt is up here, midway up his leg, right below the wheel is where that ankle tilt occurs. And that's just such a unique ankle tilt, and I wanted to point that out. I think that's a really cool ankle tilt, and I really hope they do more like it in the future. It's really nice and it doesn't get in the way of the transformation for the feet. So that is a big positive on this guy, and I really hope that we see more ankle tilt like this, where it's actually further up on the leg and it doesn't upset the foot or its transformation, and it makes for a sturdier joint. That's for sure. Listen to that. That is some sturdy stuff. Okay, so that is articulation. Now we're going to move over to siege ports. Let's do the hunt for siege ports. No siege port. No siege port. Actually, he does have the tiny siege ports down here, right? No, nothing. Nothing on the side. Nothing on the side. Not even anything, visible during transformation. Nothing on the hips. Nothing on the back. Nothing on the arms. And finally, 2. 1 for each hand. Which is a shame because it comes with this gun and he can't store the gun anywhere because he literally has no other siege ports but the 2 for his hands. And I do not like his elbows, honestly. They are very loose. This guy's got a lot of loosiness for a brand new mold. For a brand new mold, this guy has got incredible loose joints in some places. It's really weird. It's odd. That's all. So that has been articulation in siege ports. Now let's talk about the texture. Let's talk about this thing's plastic. This thing's made with some decent plastics all in all. I love the plastic that they've been using. The front of this vehicle is made with a bit more of a fragile plastic, a harder plastic, more like a crystalline style plastic from the feel of it. But the arms are made of that malleable plastic that we've been seeing a lot since Siege came out. And I really like that. The same with the legs. It seems like the armor and the car parts that are put on this guy are made out of a different plastic than what the legs and the robot parts are made out of, which does make it really interesting to feel. Of course, we've got the back area here that's made out of all that clear plastic, and you can definitely feel the difference in that clear plastic. 1, it's thinner. 2, it is very hard. It doesn't change its shape much, unlike the plastic that they've made the car out of, which is a harder plastic like the clear plastic, but it's able to move slightly and able to bend without damaging. So there's that. Sculpt-wise on this guy, he's got some, I guess we'll start at the bottom of the feet and work our way up. Nothing on the bottom of the feet, of course, but the front of the feet have some nice sculpt work. I do wish he had bigger feet. It seems like, his leg just kind of ends in a little bit of protrusion that's the end of a toe. I do wish they had worked a little harder on that to give us a more defined foot. Though the front of these is very nice because it's so smooth. It does feel like a robot armor, or just kind of a robot, and not so much the car. I do appreciate the little wheel on the side and the fact that this is made out of car pieces. Look, I love it whenever we get car kibble that becomes robots. It's wonderful. There's barely any excess car kibble on this guy. You got the front windshield and the top of the car on his back, and then the wings. But for the most part, this guy is very complete when it comes to how he utilizes his car pieces for robot mode. The thighs don't really have much going on with them. They don't have any sort of sculpt work, which is a shame. They do have some sculpt work on the side, but I really love it whenever we get a lot of sculpt work going on with these with the thighs, and I really think that's a missed opportunity when I find thighs that aren't sculpted. And honestly, I really wish they would start putting siege ports in the thighs so that you can start having your Transformers hold their weapons at their waist. That would be really cool. Further moving up from the thighs, we've got the groin area. Nothing special there. We move back up here to the underside of the front bumper area, and that is nice. You get some feel of robot textures in there. So that's nice that they actually included like at least a little piece of plastic there to give the appropriate robot feel. Then we come up to the hood of the car, which is of course most of his chest area, and you got those brush guards across the front. That's really cool. And then come up here to the head, which is towards the back of the hood area. And this head is a decent head. It's got these little pointy bits off to either side. It's kind of rounded in the middle. It comes down to a little pointy bit. That's the top of that little helmet for his head. And then you get in here and you feel his face. and it feels, yeah, I want to say that he has a mask on, but I'm not sure. It feels like it's either a mask or that's a very thin-lipped expression. But there's that. You know, it's funny. We get all these robots with mouth parts, but we never get any that have like an open mouth yelling like ah. We never get that, and that's kind of sad. Why don't we get that? That would be cool, you know, to have a transformer that's got an open mouth like screaming or yelling. It'd be neat. Um, but that's it for the articulation there. I mean, the sculpt work there. The sculpt on the arms is pretty minimalistic. They worked a little bit to sculpt the arms, but there's not much there. There's really not, which is a shame. They could have done a lot with that. They could have actually given us a branded JP somewhere on here. Which, by the way, I'm a bit upset that our Tyrannicon Rex, I didn't feel a branded JP anywhere on that T-Rex's body. Now, if I missed it, that's on me. But I think if it exists, then they may have painted it on. But all the Transformers in Jurassic Park, or not all all the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park had a brand for Jurassic Park, the JP branded on them, and that was something the toy designers actually came up with that they utilized in the movie. But the toy designers came up with that one so that you could tell the difference between a Jurassic Park T-Rex and some dime store T-Rex. You know, that was the big difference. They were worried about that. Like, how do we market these T-Rexes? Everybody would just make a T-Rex. Well, we'll put a JP on ours. Shows that it came from Jurassic Park. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's about it for this guy. He's got decent, you know, articulation. Uh, it's pretty loose. Oh wait, we forgot to talk about his one accessory. This is the gun that that crazy hunter guy in the movie, which I'm forgetting the name of right now, used to shoot the raptor. You know, his clever girl comet. And this is the gun from it. Though it's a little different, but you know, it's basically the gun from it. Though they seem to have cut off the back of it for some reason and made it weird looking, but I get what they were going for there, and that's what that gun is for. That is the anti-dinosaur rifle. Yeah. All right. Well, final thoughts on this guy are honestly, as much as I'd like to give this robot mode a big high grade, it doesn't really deserve it. Honestly speaking, it's got a fun transformation. It's got a cool vehicle mode, but there's a lot of looseness in these joints, and that's a shame. And there's not a lot of articulation for this guy, which is also a shame. And I'm going to have to take a point off for articulation, and I'm going to have to take a point off for loose joints. That's going to happen. Also, I'm going to take a point off because they didn't really, you know, dress this up with a lot of sculpt work. This was pretty minimalistic. As we've seen with other Transformers, you know, they kind of go all out with the sculpt work sometimes, and this isn't one of them. So this guy, you know, he holds his form, he holds his shape, he's a decent robot, but sadly, I'm just gonna have to give him a 5 out of 10. He is, for all of his good stuff, he's got some negatives, like, you know, one, looseness in the joints. Two, no sculpt work really. You know, very minimalistic on the sculpt work. Good grief, that loose elbow drives me crazy. Three is no siege ports. I have a bias on that one, but I'll keep my bias. This is my channel, and my bias is siege ports. So that, you know, that's already a -3 on him. And then we get the part that if you move the knee too much, you may actually damage the paint app there. So that's a big, you know, that's another negative, and that was a -4 he got already. And then I just took another point off him because even though I like the guy, and no, actually, just 6. Yeah, we'll give it a 6 out of 10. A 6 out of 10, not a 5 out of 10. I'll grade it a little better than 5. Well, then it doesn't have any waist articulation, and it lost some points of articulation. So, you know what? Yeah, the 5 makes sense. It's not a great robot, but the vehicle mode for it and the transformation mode for it have been great. The vehicle mode was an 8, and the transformation was a 7. So this guy being a 5, it's going to bring the average down to be about, you know, a 6.8 roughly. A 6.5 to a 6.6. So we'll give it a D plus in the overall for this character. Yeah, he gets a D plus. You know, it's an attempt, but they really failed at the transformer part, at the robot. The robot mode was kind of a fail in my opinion, though it doesn't make it not a bad transformer. This is still a great transformer. Anything that I consider to be a bad transformer is below 5. Those top, those first 4 bits, Alita 1 sits in there, and what was that other one? Kickback, yeah, Kickback sits in there too. Kickback sits on his almighty 4 because screw Kickback. Though he's got higher than Alita 1, because in my opinion, Alita 1's got a 3. That wasn't a transformer at all. That was just a car that had a robot hiding under its hood. So, thank you for watching, and like I said earlier in the episode, please tune in next Prime. We will cover the Bumblebee crossover for G.I. Joe with Sergeant Stalker, and we'll also, I will put up another voting thing on my channel so that you can spend these next few days voting to figure out what the figure will be on Monday. I've still got a few 1/12 scale action figures left, and even there's Bonebreaker too, and we're going to talk about all those given time. And also, I may have something special for you from my roommate. He got something. He got the Bratz car, so I'm thinking about talking about the Bratz car and discussing how it works and stuff. So, keep tuned into my channel where I'll bring you all sorts of cool things. So, thanks for watching, and please tune in next Prime. Bye bye for now.